listeners. Thanks for tuning in to more of Season 5 with our Grow, Thrive, Inspire podcast. A podcast created to help you grow both personally and professionally, to thrive with clear goals and visions, and to inspire. So whether you're a full-time resident here at Lake of the Ozarks, a visitor, or hope to be either in the future, we hope that you continue to listen and enjoy our podcast. So today on the show, we have two very special guests. These ladies have exploded in the last year, or last couple years, actually. Both locals of Lake of the Ozarks and now joint team leaders of the Lake Keys team. Their knowledge continues to inspire many, and their drive and passion is something to watch. It's my pleasure to welcome my two great friends, Miss Tammy Scheider and Miss Keri Backover, back to the show. Tammy and Keri, thank you so much for being here today. I'm super excited to discuss your new team, your story, and this topic that couldn't apply to more people.
We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes, Caitlin, thank you. It's been a long time in trying to plan this.
I know.
And finally, yes.
Yeah, you're here.
Together.
So ladies, let's just start with giving our listeners a little back history on yourselves. Tammy, let's start with you.
I am third generation resident here at Lake of the Ozarks. My grandpa bought property here in 1942.
Wow.
My parents still live in the same home we grew up in Sunrise Beach.
That's cool.
I have 4 children, and 15 years ago we moved to Osage Beach. So I am officially, I guess, a city girl now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Keri, what about you?
I've lived at the lake for 28 years. I raised my 2 children here that attend Camdenton schools. I've been an agent for 5 years, but before that I dabbled in the title company.
Okay.
So I know that side of the transaction as well. So
I didn't know that about you. That's kind of interesting.
Yes.
Well, now you guys both have Lake Keys, the team that you've started. So tell us a little bit more about your team and like how that happened, because I was so excited when you guys hit the door, you were running with it, and now it's everywhere.
Yes.
Well, I've been in real estate 18 years as an independent agent at Remax. And yes, I've had a lot of people approach me over the years about having a team and being on my team. And I love mentoring other agents. I have found just a huge amount of fulfillment personally from that. But I was always a little reluctant about the team, just because I have a little bit of a phobia of letting people down.
Okay.
And that's kind of where that came from. I have a little bit of a different situation at my house. Love my family. Very fortunate. And my husband and I have I have 4 kids. Oldest is 33. He lives here at the lake. Paige she turned 31.
Mm-hmm. Just recently.
Should I say that online? Last week. She's my daughter. She works with Keri and I. She's part of our team as well. And then my husband and I have 15-and-a-half-year-old twins. When our twins were born, they had a little bit of an extra surprise for us. They both have Down syndrome. They're identical twins, and they both have Down syndrome. And, we didn't know till after they were born. Whole backstory there. But, at the time, we really didn't know. I always lived at Lake of the Ozarks. In all honesty, I was a little concerned, are we going to be able to get their all their medical needs and their educational needs and, met here at the lake. And so it was always a little bit of a quandrum, but I love real estate. I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I'm very fortunate in that. And I thought, well, we'll just keep going along, and, as long as I can take care of my family, take care and meet all my kids' needs and everything, and then if we need to make a change, we will. Well, 16 years later almost, we're still here at the lake. It's been phenomenal. The resources here at the lake are as phenomenal or exceed anything else we've really looked at. Been able to get all of their medical needs met, but it's a little bit different in the amount of therapy appointments that I had and stuff like that when they were a little bit little, when they were a little younger. And so I thought, well, let me just scale my business accordingly, so that I take on clients that I know I can. How do I put this? I just had to scale it. I really had to think about time frames,
time management, and
I love I know this is, but I love the phrase necessity is the mother of invention.
Ooh.
And it works in other ways. Maybe you're not necessarily inventing a gadget or a wizard or widget or whatever you want to call it. But you're inventing your life and how that works. And so in trying to scale that so that I met everyone's needs, somehow or another, I don't know how, sometimes somebody say, how did you do that? I was like, I don't really know, but I did. And it's always been phenomenal. I think I've missed one closing in 18 years, and I think it was because I was on vacation. But that did create for me just this sense of not wanting to let anybody down. And so just making sure I juggled everything and making sure that, like I said, I didn't let anybody down. And
it's one of my favorite things about you, though, Tammy, now that I've known you for as many years as I have, is just, you know, I know with our personal conversations, you were worried about what kind of leader that you were going to be. But I feel like with your history and how you've managed time with your own personal struggles and raising your boys and your family, like, I feel like that all goes into why you're a great leader.
Well, you know, you learn so many different things on different journeys you have. So Brock is nonverbal. And so, and I have to communicate with people across, you know, the spectrum, whether it's medical professionals, surgeons, whether it's educational. There's just so many different people that I have to interact with in order to advocate for them all the time.
Absolutely.
And so one thing that I developed because of that is communication in a way. There's more than one way to communicate. Yeah. It's not always the spoken word. There are so many different things going on in what people say. A lot of times it's also what people don't say. And so I've been able to learn to communicate with children who don't have the ability to vocalize their wants and needs all the time. And then, you know, weeding through with medical professionals and different therapists, you know, sometimes people don't want to tell you something, or they feel like they're out of their lane telling you this and it should come, you know, whatever. But you just have to learn how to communicate on so many different levels. And so it's made me be able to cut to the chase a lot of times when people are looking for real estate. I can listen and I can watch how they interact at a property and just really pick up on what their cues are, what they like, what they don't like, so that I can really find that property for them exponentially faster because of that. I do a lot of upfront work so that I'm not wasting their time out in the field and going and looking at properties that may or may not be a fit. Just because of the communication skills I've developed, I'm able to sort through that a lot faster and find them what they need in working with other agents and just being able to communicate effectively. That's and awesome. in a much shorter time frame, because I don't always have the luxury to spend 8 hours at the office every day. So I've learned to get a lot done in a really short period of time.
Well, and I think that is where you and Keri really balance each other, because when you came into Lake Keys and you guys started this, you know, I'm sure it was a learning curve for the both of you, but you guys just being able to have that great communication and that great friendship and everything on the back end is awesome. I mean, what do you think about starting the team?
I love it. Right now it's just Tammy and I selling, but we obviously want to grow our team.
Yes.
The vibe in our office is energetic and fun, and you know, we're outgoing. We like to go to socials and just be interactive in our community. But definitely looking forward to growing our team.
Well, we like being positive. We like uplifting each other and things like that. And I think that that's so important. And just in the relationship that Keri and I have, we were just able to build this this trust with each other. And so I know when something does come up and we've got a meeting planned, I know Keri's got it. And I don't have to be a control freak.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't have to be a control freak. I don't have to feel like I'm letting anybody down in any way, shape, or form, because I know she's got it. She's got my back. She's got my front.
Awesome.
We both do that for each other.
Yeah.
And it's just given me so much confidence to be able to do what I love, which is work with clients. But I really do love mentoring other agents. That's something that I've learned over the years. Even when people wanted to get into real estate and I wasn't ready to do a team, I still did spend a lot of time mentoring agents and helping them. And so many of them have become just unbelievably successful. And so that's rewarding. And being able to do that and take that a step further because of her is amazing.
That's so cool. Well, I can't keep the positivity and the great things going fast enough, but I feel like it flows right into the kind of the topic that we wanted to talk about today, which was how beliefs determine your path. So did you both believe that you would be here, right here where you are today, like, you know, in the past? Like, beliefs, you know, they get you to where you want to be. Is that intentional? Is it not? What do you think?
For me, having my own team was a goal of mine, but in reality, I'm like, it's way off further in the distance than I think. So being an agent for 5 years and now being a team leader with Tammy, I'm just mind blown. Like, I'm just so blessed and surprised and all these emotions because it came faster, a lot faster than I imagined it would.
Yeah, I mean, even from an outsider's perspective, watching the both of you, it came a lot faster from the outsider's perspective too. But I find that is like the best point of the conversation, though, is like you dive in with both feet. You if you have that goal, you take it and you run with it and you don't look back. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So what do you think, Keri? I mean, or Tammy, did you feel like, you know, you were intentional about where you were coming with this?
Like I said, I'd been asked to do it in the past, and I'd always been, did I want to be here? Yes. Did I feel confident that I could be here and be successful and effective on the level that I expect out of myself? No. It wasn't until the conversations her and I had that I thought this thing that I've always wanted to do.
Oh, don't cry.
Well, it could be a reality.
I love that. Oh. Yeah. And it is a reality, which is amazing.
And it is. Sorry.
Stop that.
No, I love
but
it.
But it was just this meeting of the minds and this just unbelievable amount of trust.
Welcoming, open arms, we got this.
Honest. Everything. That it was pretty surreal. And yeah, I mean it definitely moved me into a position of to do something I didn't know I'd be able to do.
But that you wanted to do. Yeah, that's so amazing. You're gonna make me do it.
And yes, it did. You pushed your plan ahead too.
Yes.
And sometimes I look back and I'm just like, oh my God, pinch myself. How are we here? Yeah. How are we here? Mm-hmm. And performing at the level that we both want to perform at, because I don't like I don't have do things.
Yeah, you don't want to half-ass
And that's why
anything.
I try to scale things so that it's always, extremely successful, and my clients are always just ecstatic and happy because I've always tried to scale it. And so we still scale it, but just
that's cool.
It's just
So
I don't know what to say sometimes.
Since you guys have built this powerhouse team, do you feel like your beliefs have shifted a little bit? Like, Keri, like, you probably had, beliefs before you became a team leader, and now that you are one, has it shifted at all?
I would say so. I feel like we don't have anybody under us right now, but when we do, I feel like I'm going to have to be motivating them and guiding them and pushing them. So not only doing that for myself, but also for
mentoring.
Members. Yes.
And helping.
So, so definitely 2 different hats I will be wearing.
Does it scare you?
No, I'm actually looking forward to it.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like both of you, especially you, Tammy, because I've known you a little bit longer, but both have that mentorship down, like that like longingness to help somebody be successful, which is really, really cool. Yeah. So, Tammy, we asked one of our broker owners, Jason Little, what stood out about you as an agent, and here's what he said. Tammy is a true professional. She truly understands all numbers. She is a student of real estate. She does a great job of putting deals together and keeping deals together. She never loses her cool and does a great job of coaching her clients throughout the process. That being said, Tammy, what beliefs drive those qualities for you? Can you tell us, like, how do you do all of that?
I'm married to an accountant. So numbers and data are always... And he interacts with me and stuff like that. I mean, it's, when you're a real estate agent, it's not just you; it's your whole family. It's just part of it. And so my husband is an accountant, and so he's always questioning me on data. Somebody will call, and he'll be he'll overhear some of my conversations, negotiating, and talking about values, and then he'll quiz me to death on it. So I always got to know my numbers. They're right there. But that you can always rely on that. You get a gut feeling. Hey, this is what I think this property will bring in the current market conditions. But then I like to validate that with numbers.
Right.
And not contrive the numbers to make them fit my needs, but look at them and see if I'm on target or not or what.
Yeah, from like a factual standpoint.
Yeah, from a factual standpoint. I like data. No, you can't lose your cool. It's all in. And again, having children with special needs, things happen all the time. You just have to roll with it. And when I'm going to backtrack here a minute. When Brock and Gib were born, and we found out about 12 hours or so after they were born premature too. So we had a lot of different things going on. And we live at like the Ozarks also. And so it's kind of like, okay, what are we going to do? And not only do we have one child, we have two.
Yeah.
And so, what are you going to do? These are your children. You love your children, obviously. But it's like, what are you going to do? And it's like, you know what? Because Brad and I were sitting there and we'd been through umpteen different, I can't remember how many specialists had talked to us about all the different challenges we had at the time. And we were sitting there and he said, what are we going to do? And I thought back to a very specific person that I know. Her name is Linda Platter. And when growing up, I grew up with her daughter, Kim. And Linda's younger daughter had different needs. And Linda took Tina everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was never a thing. Tina was always hanging around with us girls, and it was just never a thing. And so that really inspired me there. I really drew on those experiences from her as, junior high school, really. And I said, you know what? We're going on this journey. You're going on this journey no matter what. You might as well enjoy every step of the way. So it's an adventure. So I always look at, some adventures are more adventurous than others. So I've always looked at challenges, no matter what they are, personal, professional, and it's helped me in real estate. It's an adventure. And keeping your cool, keeping a level head. I've always said common sense. It's just common sense and keeping a level head always. And one of the other things I love is I always say there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
No, it's not a kitty cat. It's an old Ozarkian phrase. But there's always another way. There's always more than one way to look at things, and there's always more than one solution to problems. So, and again, drawing on my experience as a parent with children with disabilities, is there's always another way. If your child doesn't speak, there's more than one way to communicate. If your child isn't going to be mobile by walking on their own two legs, there's still a way. There's always another way.
Absolutely.
And so, just not having these blinders on, thinking this is always the best way. There's always another way, and it can be just as effective and just as great as what you think sometimes. So I don't have blinders on when it comes to problem solving.
Well, I love that. It actually reminds me kind of one of my own personal beliefs or like mantras that I try to stick with, especially from a parenting standpoint, which is like when my kids are younger than your kids, but either way, but even from a young age to where they are now at 10 and 8, I always approach things that happen with them as like this like phrase in my head, which is it just spilt milk? Yeah. Because like I always have to like take a step back and be like, okay, am I being reactive, or is this just a situation where it's like as easy as cleaning up spilt milk? Like, so that's something that just reminded me.
Well, yeah, keep it in perspective. Don't sweat the small stuff. Look at the bigger picture. A lot of times with clients, I go, okay, what's the worst case scenario? Let's work backwards from there. Yeah. What is the absolute worst case scenario? Do you still want to buy this home? Do you still want to, is this transaction going to stay together? And a lot of times if you look at worst case scenario and you actually put that in real perspective, then it makes it so much easier. And so, and just like I said, just having a level head. And I don't even know, some of it comes a little bit natural to me, but then also I think I'm a student of my circumstances sometimes too, and I've learned so much in life at a different time point maybe than what
Absolutely.
I would have in with had or not had twins with disabilities.
Right.
I don't mean to keep referring to that, but I have learned so much from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it has shaped who I am.
Yeah,
it has
absolutely.
shaped who I am.
I mean, it would shape anybody.
It does.
And the fact that
It
you are
does.
able to notice it, take positives
Yes.
from it, apply it, that's really what's inspiring.
Yeah.
Now, Keri, I know that you were thinking you were going to get out of the hot seat, but I asked Jason about you as well. And he told me that Keri is fearless. She is not afraid to put herself out there. She pushes the envelope when it comes to marketing and exposure. A lot of agents know what to do, but Keri actually does it. So, Keri, what are the beliefs that helped you be so fearless?
I would say confidence. I know, like, when my first video I ever did, just recording myself, I'm like, I don't know if I could put this out there. Like, I don't know how many times I re-recorded it. Like, it was a mess. But you gotta put yourself out there and just keep pushing the envelope. And I think that's what has helped me.
Well, I love that. And I know I draw a lot of inspiration from, like, your TikTok videos. And I mean, me and you bounce back and forth, and I love that. But I love your ability, both of you, to just, not only take the dream of the accomplishment of starting the team, but man, just throw in that team every which direction. Yeah. I mean, it's everywhere. Yes. It's awesome.
And we hear people say that all the time about, I hear your commercials all the time. I see your face all the time. So it's working.
Are you still Redhead Realtor, by the way, since the last time you were on the show? Like, brand?
I mean, I still use that.
For hashtags and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I love it because I'll never forget when you and I and Tammy went to R4, and it was my first time this agent walked up to you and was like, I just met Redhead Realtor. I was like, man, that is so cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Power of the brand, right?
I know, right?
All right, couple more questions. It's said that our beliefs determine our actions, and our actions determine our results. So if someone is not getting the results that they want, they might want to dig deeper into their beliefs. So how have you both reevaluated your beliefs in the past? So if you weren't, like, getting the results that you wanted or were looking for?
The mind is a very powerful thing. It really is. And I do believe you can condition yourself. I'm a huge fan and a huge student of Bob Proctor. He did pass this last year, but I love him. He says, dream the big dreams, and then you'll figure it out. So when you're not getting results, maybe you're not dreaming big enough. Really, you're
That's
thinking,
a good point.
You're thinking, oh, I just want to be able to do this. Well, no, dream the big dreams. Dream as big as you want, and then if you really internalize that, the rest of your presence has no option but to then follow what your dreams are. And so I do think that sometimes maybe, you get bogged down in the new minutia of things, and you just need to look at big picture sometimes and dream really big, then work backwards from there. And so that's just always been something. Sometimes when you get stuck, it's like, okay,
I love that.
I'm stuck. Now what? Well, why did I do all this? What am I thinking? What is it that I want?
Kind of go back to that why.
The why, yeah.
Well, it not only the why, but what do you want? What is it that you want? And because there isn't anything, you can do it all. You really can. I think I'm a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I really am. I mean, so dream the big dream. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in a box.
Yeah. Don't put yourself, and don't be afraid of it. Don't be think, oh, God, that's too big. That's just too big of a dream. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It just things fall into place. Then you'll inadvertently meet people, and then you're prepared because you've actually had these thoughts, you've had these dreams. So when you make these connections, then you can make them a reality.
I love that. I love that.
Well said.
Keri, I'm going to throw this one at you. I also like hearing other beliefs and why they're kind of important to others. So some of my favorites would be, there is a way. I can't do anything, I can't do everything, but I can do anything. My only limit is time, or there's no growth without discomfort. So what are kind of some of your personal ones?
One that really stands out to me is the only limits you have are the limits you believe.
Ooh.
So don't give yourself restrictions. Step outside the box. Keep pushing the envelope. I think that's a good one that I keep.
Baby step. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Tammy? You got any favorite ones?
Luck favors the prepared.
Oh, love that.
Know your numbers, know your market. When it comes to business, know your market, know your numbers. Because when that opportunity comes your way, you need to be prepared for it.
Ooh.
Because you don't want to turn around and go, oh gosh, I had such an in right there, but I wasn't ready for it. So luck favors the prepared is always a good one.
What about fake it till you make it? Like, I
Oh,
hear
I've
that
done
one
that.
all the
Yeah,
time.
that's a good, I mean, well, sometimes that's your own attitude.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad attitude, keep a positive attitude. Another one for me is always say yes to the opportunity, and then I'll figure it out.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You get a great opportunity. Don't say no. Don't hem-haw around. Say yes to the opportunity, and you figure it out. You just that's been my mantra, I think, for my life. I've never known what I was doing before I started any of the jobs I've ever had before. I mean,
I love it.
But it was a great opportunity. I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I've always just believed that I can figure it out. And sometimes in real estate, I will say this too: is new people don't know what they can't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't put, and that's what you said too, don't put those limits on yourself. You don't know what you can't do. And then sometimes you'll pull back when you realize, well, how did I pull that together? That really shouldn't have, whatever. But you don't know that you're not supposed to be able to pull that together or do that.
Yeah.
Somehow or another you get it done, and everybody's like, well, how did you do that? We can't do, well, I didn't know I couldn't do it, so
Right.
I did it.
So I did it.
So I did. And so those
That's
are
a
some
great point. I love
Yeah.
watching new agents do that. Like, I'll never forget some of them that came in and, they were just like, oh, well, I went with the 7% and I got it. And it's just like, yeah, because you just asked for it. You didn't know any different.
You didn't know any. I mean, you've got agents that have been in the business 20. Well, you can't do that, or they're especially with the new way of marketing with social media, and they'll draw lines for themselves, and they'll think, oh, people don't care what you look like, and you don't care what you sound like. I mean, it's not that they don't care, but they're not nearly as hyper focused on you as what you are on yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she pushes all of us to put it out there.
I could see that.
To do the videos, and people are like, well, how did you? I was like, I don't, you know what though? I don't watch them. We record them, and we're getting ready to do a TV commercial, and we've been recording different things. And so she'll always go look at the snaps and this, that, and the other. And I went, Devin, because I had one-on-one last night, I had to do it a shot. Devin's like, you want to look at these? And I was like, nope.
Nope, they're good.
Nope, don't even want to look
Roll
at
it.
them. He'll put it together, he'll edit it. If you need my opinion on this, that, or the other, when the editing process is going on, fine, wonderful. But I'm just
Sometimes I think that's the
don't
better
look at
way.
it. Don't be so self-conscious.
Yeah, because then
And
you'll sit there and
stalemate yourself.
analyze it anyway. So I tell agents, shoot it, send it.
It's
Shoot
your
it, send
personality.
it.
People
Yeah.
people want to know you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so just let it go a little bit. Be yourself. Put it out there and be okay with that.
I love it.
Yep.
Okay, a couple more final questions. What advice would you recommend to others that are looking to take control of their beliefs and take more actions to get to their goals?
Okay, be careful what you tell yourself. Because what you tell yourself becomes your reality. If you tell yourself you can't do something, or it's too hard, or it's too far off, or whatever limiting factor you're putting there on yourself, you will unintentionally limit yourself. So be careful what you tell yourself. You're feeding your brain, and that comes out everywhere else. So,
Unintentionally or intentionally.
Right. So be intentional about what you tell yourself. I know it sounds silly to look in a mirror and give yourself your 5 things you tell yourself every day, but when you're having those moments when you're unsure yourself, or you're not feeling confident, or you're feeling a little down in the dumps, be very intentional what you tell yourself, and make it appropriate.
I love that advice, because it's not just, for me, it's not just what you tell yourself, it's also the actions that come from that. So like if you're having a down day, you're, and maybe you're in the mirror telling yourself the 5 things or whatever, but you also have to take that a step further and project it. I mean, surround yourself with like-minded people,
Yes.
or, getting to your goals by, doing the things that you need to do. I mean, there's so many factors that go into it, but.
Well, when the real estate market changed a couple of years ago, here at the Lake of the Ozarks, I know everybody thinks, real estate's went through the roof. Agents are making money hand over fist. No, it's as hard as it's ever been. But I was telling myself that it's hard. And it is hard. That is true. But there's another way to say that to myself rather than saying it's hard. And so it was a phrase I found myself saying rather frequently. And I had to really stop and go, okay, there's a better way to feed myself the same information. Right after we came out of 08, 09, 010, well, our market stayed stale.
Right.
And then it picked up, and new inventory wasn't really coming in, and so we were, as agents, we were like, well, this thing's been on the market 3 years or whatever, and you're getting a little thinking that, it's stale inventory. Well, if you keep saying that, then your clients, that's what they hear. But they want to buy and sell in the market that we currently have.
Right.
So you have to just stay up with what's going on in current market conditions. You can't compare this market to the last market because that doesn't concern them. So like I said, just being intentional about what you tell yourself and studying so that you know what to be telling yourself in a positive way.
Yeah, and what you absorb too.
Right.
Yeah, I would say surround yourself with around successful, positive people. That way you guys feed off each other.
Right.
If you're hanging out with people that aren't so positive and they're going to bring you down. So
Well, and I think that's something we're very conscientious with growing our team is to be positive and to be uplifting to each other all the way around. And because it affects you. If you have and we've all worked in other environments where you have maybe they're even a super producer, but their attitude, that's the one thing you can't train.
It just
you can't train attitude.
Right.
You really can't train attitude. That's something you have to do yourself.
Right.
But you can't train attitude. I can teach a lot of things, but I can't. Attitude's something that each individual person has to wrap their brain around.
Yeah, and that'll just ruin the whole vibe in the office. Like,
the culture is like the number one thing
really
you want to protect.
Yeah.
Right.
But I agree. And yeah, you can't train it, but I definitely think that more people have to understand that it is within their control.
It is.
Like I remember being, a negative person in my younger years. And then I remember the transitioning point that happened in my life to where it was like, okay, I need to make changes. So now I'm going to start absorbing more positive stuff, more stuff that keeps me in the mindset that I want to be in, more stuff that I can feed other people who might also be in that mindset. And man, that stuff is contagious.
It really is.
You get what you give. You get what you give. So if you're going to go into a room and people are talking negative about stuff, you're going to walk away. Walk away. You don't have to let that. You don't have to be a sponge for that. You can walk away.
Yep.
And there's a polite way to walk away from a negative situation.
Yep.
But yeah, keeping yourself exposed to those positive vibes wherever they're at.
Positive vibes.
Positive
They'll
vibes.
come back to you. They'll come back to you.
All right, I got 3 last questions,
Uh-oh.
but they're rapid fire,
Okay.
completely about you. Okay?
Rapid fire.
Boom, boom, boom. Drum roll. All right, first one. What is an area of growth you want to experience in your personal or professional life? Go, Keri.
I have no patience. So I'm going to work on that. I want things done now. I have a plan, I have a schedule, like this is how my day's going. And then I also want to do better with blocking off like family time. I'm really bad about, slowing down and just shutting off my phone. I will take a call at 9:00 at night. Like I'm really bad about
Everything that you just said is exactly why you and I get along, because it is exactly the same for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Tammy?
Growth. I'm looking forward to growing the team and what all that's going to, I don't even know how to say it.
Look like?
Look like, feel like, going through the process, not just having look back and go, I did that, but actually doing it and going through the process. So I'm really looking forward to growing the team and becoming a really good team leader. As, I've always had that independent agent mindset, and now I do have to think differently, and so I'm trying to be very conscientious of keeping the team at the forefront, and so I'm looking forward to growing that way more than I have. And personally, how would I like to grow? I would like to shrink.
Not so much grow.
Not so much grow. I would like to shrink.
That's hilarious.
I've always been on this journey. I work hard at losing weight, and I work pretty hard at gaining it sometimes too.
I feel
like
that.
a good challenge. So I'm up for the challenge, and I'm looking forward to
I love it.
getting a little bit healthier.
In what area do you feel you are currently thriving?
Marketing and social media.
Heck yeah, girl. I would agree with that one.
Negotiating contracts.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Numbers.
the best.
Numbers.
Yep.
Just working with people. We've had, the last couple of years, multiple offers has been the theme. And so helping people sort through, do they want this property? And how can I help position them to negotiate a successful contract without just being the highest dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much more to a contract than just the sales price. So helping people find those avenues, whether another agent or the agent on the other side, the buyers and the sellers, and helping them work through those processes to negotiate the best possible situation, without it just being always about being the highest dollar price. And so that's been something I've been very effective at, and I'm kind of proud of that a little bit.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yep.
All right, last one. What inspires you?
My family. I push through for them all the time, and I like nice things. So I want a pool, and I want a nice car, and I want vacations, and so those things that really drive me.
I love it.
My kids, they're just amazing. All four of them, seeing what they've accomplished, seeing Brock and Gib grow, and turn into the young men that they are now, and seeing their personalities
and everything that I'm sure
and
that you
accomplishments.
helped.
And it's just not putting limitations on them, and watching what they figure out and what they can do. And I know this is kind of silly, but Gib loves tortilla chips. Tortilla, or not
Like the chips and salsa?
Tostito.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we hide them in the very top shelf in our cabinets. And one day he decided he wanted chips, and he knew where they were. And so he's walking over, and he knows where they are. He can open the cabinet, but he can't reach the top. So he's sitting there with his finger, tapping on his chin, thinking. You can see he's thinking, how can I get those? He gets my tongs out that I flip meat with on the grill. He cuts kind of half up on the countertop, reaches up with the tongs and pulls them down. And it's just watching him problem solve.
Right, yeah.
And not asking for any help, but, he got what he wanted. And I was like, well, I know he doesn't need any chips, but, man, you got to celebrate those wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to celebrate when they think through the process. And there's just so many different things. Like I said, you just amazed at, what they're thinking through. And sometimes I wonder, what are they thinking? And
I love that story, though. That is
oh
really
my God.
powerful.
I took part of a video of it, and it's hysterical. Because he's like, you can see him. He's just, he's thinking, how am I going to get this? And he did. And so, yeah.
That's so cute. Well, Grow, Thrive, Inspire listeners, we could not be more thankful to Tammy and Keri for being here today and offering their great advice on just taking control of those beliefs and taking control of your dreams, getting there. You can connect with Tammy and Keri how can they connect with you guys?
You can text me, 573-280-9207. You can go on our website, lake-keys.com. Email, Facebook.
All of the places.
Instagram.
All the platforms, yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Just Lake Keys or Tammy Scheider or Keri Backover. And
I love it.
friend request.
Be my
like
friend.
our page.
I love it. Well, we have more episodes coming, so be sure to tune back in on Wednesdays and like and subscribe to all of our pages as well. If you want to catch more of our content, we sure do appreciate you, Lake listeners. And remember to always grow, thrive, and inspire, and we'll catch you next time.